On today's episode of Random Land, we get an exclusive and detailed look at one of the coolest home tiki bars ever built in Southern California.
I've never seen anyone do something like this before.
You carved this whole thing yourself?
It's home to its own YouTube show and considered one of the most authentic home tiki bars in the country. That is, until I completely ruined it.
What have you done?
Strap in, because things are about to get wild as we bring the common man's tiki to the famous Breezeway.
Oh, it's always good to be back in your own backyard.
Literally and, of course, metaphorically.
Now, I don't own this house, I'm just renting it, but one of the first things I did when I moved in here
Was to establish a little bit of a jungly tiki corner.
because I was a fan of Adventureland and the Jungle Cruise and the Tiki Room and all things tiki, really.
I always wished that I had a little patch of earth to have my own miniature jungle paradise. A paradise that's gotten, as you can see, a little bit out of control back here.
That's because it used to all be growing in the shade of some trees that had to get ripped out by the neighbor and the landlord. Trees that, as you can see, are doing their best to grow back here. But anyway, it caused these jungly plants to grow out of control in front of most of my tiki statues,
Which are still back there. They're still intact.
Then, of course, you may remember when I was just getting into wood carving,
I did quite a bit of work to make this tiki planter.
add a little more square footage, a little more acreage to my jungle over here.
A project I haven't worked on for a while, but really should get back to.
Because I gotta tell you, I'm in a tiki mood, and this really isn't quite hitting the spot.
Oh, sure, there's a few jungly plants and some bamboo and some carvings.
And over inside of my garage, I've got even more tiki stuff in the form
Of some original old school Leroy Schmaltz tikis. There's an old school Randotti hiding back here.
and even some giant tiki carvings I made myself.
Somehow, though, you know what? It's just not enough. I just want to get a little more tropical.
I'd head on down to Disneyland and go to the tiki room, except for, the reservations.
I don't have one.
I'd go down to Don the Beachcomber, but sadly, Don the Beachcomber closed a few years ago. I'd go down to Trader Sam's, but they always have a line, and I don't want to sit outside. And I'd go down to check out one of those new school tiki bars that have been popping up.
But no one's ever invited me to one, and I don't have any friends down there.
So how the heck are we supposed to go full tiki?
Well, we're in luck, because this evening
I've arranged for us to get out of our own backyard and into one of the coolest backyard tiki bars that exists anywhere.
my friend Spike Marble's Breezeway.
In addition to being one of the coolest backyard or home tiki bars of all time, it's also the set of my friend Spike's show, Spike's Breezeway Cocktail Hour,
where he brews up authentic tiki cocktails.
most of which are original mid-century recipes or some kind of important or popular recipe at legendary tiki bars.
Of which my friend Spike has been to many, because he's also the front man for a tiki-themed group called the Hula Girls, a musical group nonetheless. And tonight, if everything goes according to plan, I'm going to be a guest on Spike's Breezeway Cocktail Hour show, and we're going to be able to go check out the new and improved Breezeway.
And go full tiki till the sun comes up.
Here's the thing, though. I love Spike, and he is my friend, but he's also genuinely sort of a tiki snob.
Okay, to be more accurate, we should call it tiki connoisseur.
He likes a certain level of vintage authenticity, like high-class quality, not just in the decor, but also in the mugs themselves, the designs. It's a very particular, authentic, vintage tiki aesthetic that he's going for.
Right down to what your Hawaiian shirt looks like, let me tell you.
Being a fan of authentic tiki stuff myself, I thought before we get to the Breezeway, maybe we should come here and acquire some items for the Breezeway.
Which is why I've come here, to the home of the most authentic tiki decor anywhere.
Trust me, we are going to need the cart.
Oh, behold, just look at this. Look at all of this wonderful summer tiki stuff.
And all at very affordable prices.
I'm glad we got here just in time before they get rid of this stuff. There was more stuff a few days ago.
You gotta jump on that tiki decor quick. Okay, look at this. Oh, that is beautiful. A fishing net, perfect. Got some plastic coconuts. Those are always good.
Ooh, pink plastic coconuts.
More the merrier. Oh my gosh. Pineapple jug. Oh, look at that one. It's like those old school football toy bins. Leaf coasters, gotta have those. Oh my gosh. What have we here? Look at that happy tiki. One fun pick photo backdrop.
What do we have down here?
Oh, island time.
Oh my gosh, look at this. Hula skirts, perfect! As you may remember, Spike's in a band called the Hula Girls, and they do have go-go dancers that wear grass skirts and coconuts. He's going to love this. Now, we're definitely gonna need a couple of leis here.
And boy, oh boy, do they have us covered. Look at all these leis.
Oh, even better, look at
goes. Spike's finally gonna see how the rest of us tiki party in the summer. Look at this one, it's like pastel. I like that. Kinda wanna buy the giant ice cream cone cup, but even I have to admit that's not tiki. That's not tiki. Oh, this is pretty good, look. Rope. It's kind of nautical, right? A rope. Relax, relax. I want to go wild and get some 4th of July stuff. Maybe some seashells over here, some anchors, but Spike's very, very picky. So we'll try and keep it cool. Create a fairy garden, $1. Wait a minute, look at. Oh, perfect. There's even a fairy garden tiki hut. What in the world? Okay, I think we might be pretty much tapped out now at the Dollar Tree. I'm just doing around to make sure. Of course, I'm aware that the Dollar Tree stuff is pretty cheap. Don't worry, we're gonna get some more stuff too. Some even higher quality stuff, which is why after the Dollar Tree, we're headed here! Party City, where America comes to party. Now, I have been kicked out of more party cities than you can possibly imagine. We gotta be a little sneakier about the camera in Party City. They're on to me. That's why I came to a Party City kind of far away from my house. But look at the treasures inside. This is how most of America goes full tiki in the summer. Look at this. They got everything from tiki shirts to tiki skirts. Whoa, to jumbo inflatable tiki coolers. I don't know how we would use this in the episode, but this might work. I don't want to give it all away, but trust me, this is gonna be a fun one. Whoa, wait a minute, this is even better than the inflatable one, and cheaper, and cheaper. Okay, we're doing pretty good. There's just one thing left that we really need. One thing people who don't know any better generally mix up is pirates and tiki. They're two different things, two different oceans. They really don't mix. At least that's what someone like Spike would say, but we're not here to follow the rules. How's this look? Piratey? All right, let's pay for this stuff and get out of here. Okay, how and when we get those into the Breezeway, on his show, on this show, I don't know, but at least we've got our supplies. And now we can head down towards the beach and the Breezeway. Ooh, our sunny day just got a little bit gloomy right now before nightfall. That's okay, we're not here for sun tanning, we're here for tiki. Uh-oh, I can see him. I can see Sparky. Sparky!
There he is.
Spiky!
Hello?
Sparky! Oh my gosh. We're back at Spike's house. Look at his living room, dude. It looks like a cooler, cleaner version of Pee-wee's Playhouse. Right, Sparky? I love it because it looks so awesome. I hate it because I don't live in it, but we're not here for the indoor portion of the tour. We're here to head out back between the house and the garage into something known as a breezeway that Spike has transformed into the Breezeway. Look at this. No, wait a minute. Don't look at this. Avert your eyes. It looks better when it's dark. The Breezeway looks best at night. But we had to show up in the day because one major thing has changed about the Breezeway. It's gotten a whole lot bigger. Look at the size of that little roof. 1 year ago, if you were to be out here looking at the Breezeway, it would have kind of been just a flat roof between the garage and the house. It was sort of low hanging in here in the bar. Wait, don't look at that yet. Anyway, during that year, there were some crazy rainstorms that damaged the original, really thin roof between the garage and the house, the Breezeway roof, and it ended up collapsing a little bit. And instead of just fixing it, Spike, the maniac that he is, built himself a crazy, proper A-frame, mid-century Tiki Bar roof. Which means for the first time in all these years that he's had the Breezeway itself now has a proper, actual entrance. Dude, combine this with the crazy volcano pond that Spike built out here, and the wild and crazy collection of vintage estate sale tikis that keeps on growing and growing out here. And the backyard that used to just be a regular boring backyard compared to the Breezeway has become the perfect tiki garden leading you into the most epic, most awesome home tiki bar of them all. At least so says I, because I get to come here. Dude, I've never known anyone who's just up and built a roof before with no experience.
I got friends that know more than me, and so we just like worked together and, I don't know, built it. I know how to build stuff.
Are these just like regular 4x4s from Home Depot?
No, it's all Home Depot wood. And you just, you router it and then burn it with a torch and scrub it with a scrubber.
This is one of the things that I hate about you and hate about my friend Brett Iwan too. You guys are artists, so you're the type of guys that can go just get some Home Depot wood and go, oh yeah, I just did this, and this, and it looks great, you know, look at it. Anybody can do it. It's just like people who cook really well, and they're like, all I do is follow the recipe. It takes skill, man. It blows my mind that people can just take a pile of lumber from Home Depot and turn it into this. And look at this. I know Spike carved this himself, because he carved me a Random Land one a long time ago, although sadly I have no Tiki Bar to put it in. There's a whole breezeway for us to look at, and I promise you, we're gonna look at the whole thing in a second. I'm only focusing on the outside while we have light, because in just a few minutes, it's gonna get hecka dark out here, and we won't see all the little knickknacks and paddywhacks that Spike has got spilling out of the breezeway. He's got an old carved chair from Frankie's Tiki Room in Las Vegas. Where'd you get a tugboat life preserver?
Estate sale. It was like an estate sale, but I found out that it was like a tugboat in Long Beach Harbor.
We've got a real carving here from Papua New Guinea. These are the boxes that light up that his go-go dancers dance on when the band performs. That is a Leroy Schmaltz / Oceanic Art tribal shield dealie right there that he got at an estate sale for 20 bucks. I don't know how he does it. Dude, and then check this out. I bet you've never seen this before. A tiki totem, a huge one, a double-faced one with the Rusty logo on it.
So I used to work at Rusty Surfboards, and my buddy ended up passing away, but he gave that to me. I think I'm gonna end up donating it to like the surfing museum in Huntington, something like that. It's just, it has its place, but maybe not at the Breezeway, you know?
It's because of that pineapple on the forehead. I told you Spike was picky. Speaking of estate sales, dude, look at this thing right here. This is as rare as it gets. As you can see, it's not made of wood. I can't believe I'm actually allowed to touch this. This belongs in a museum. This is a tiki totem from the legendary The Tikis in LA from way back in the day, which was almost like a tiki theme park, like an insane tiki theme park that would take way too long to describe. You got to check it out in the book, The Godfathers of Tiki by Jordan Rychek, the guy that's putting on Exoticon, Peekaboo Gallery guy. The whole story's in there. It's incredible. Okay, one more thing before we let the sun go down. I know there's a weird and long story when it comes to these tiles right here. Inside the breezeway, Spike's always had these tiles right here. He got them from Oceanic Arts, but they came out of Trader Vic's, probably the one in Beverly Hills at the Beverly Hilton. They've always been a cool, kind of rare piece of the breezeway and of breezeway history. So a lot of cool museum-like stuff in here. So of course, when he's gonna build a new entry or exit to the breezeway, depending on your perspective, he's gonna try to keep those Chinese jade tiles in the mix and get a hold of some more.
So I modeled it after the original Don the Beachcomber entryway in Hollywood.
And they had the same sort of Chinese jade tiles?
And also like the bamboo and stuff, the orientation, the tiles and the configuration of the bamboo going vertical and horizontal and stuff.
So everything's got a nod to tiki history, dude. That's what I like about you. You like to keep it old school.
Thanks.
Even your hot tub's looking old school out here. Whoa.
So I got these on eBay, and there's a lady who ended up with like 5,000 of these Chinese jade tiles. And so she became like the source for these kind of things.
Right, the go-to lady, the jade lady.
The jade lady. But and they're not cheap. And so when I bought them on eBay, they arrived in like the floppiest box ever. Oh. They were all shattered. And so I glued this one back, but you can still see it's got like, you know, it's not perfect.
Yeah, but it has a happy ending.
Like the day that I posted about this whole thing, my friend found brand new ones at the Long Beach swap meet.
So they're not vintage. They're
they
not
are.
Old oh, they are.
No, they're totally vintage.
So they were just brand new in the sense that they were like clean, fresh, ready to go on the breezeway.
Exactly.
Dude. So now you have the surviving Florida tiles in the middle, and you got the Long Beach swap meet tiles on the outside. So I just like it because there's a story, dude.
Yeah.
I like it. There's a little story there. Look, it's getting darker.
I know.
We're about to enter the breezeway.
But there's a story with like almost everything. You know, all of the pieces, like where you found it from, or you know, where you got it.
I love that.
Who carved it?
It's happening, guys. Night is falling. Look at, things are changing. Things are happening. Look down here in front of the pond. There are some of these like pumice stone tikis, probably carved by Eli Headley, the original beachcomber, grandfather of the modern day bamboo Ben who builds a lot of tiki bars. Almost dark enough. Almost dark enough, my friends. The tiki torches are coming on. Time for us to go full tiki inside of the breezeway. All right, gang, here we come. Back inside of the breezeway. The camera's gonna get ADD. It's not gonna know what to focus on because there is so much in here. So many layers of artifacts, of tiki totems, and especially of lamps. Look at the size of that lamp collection. Look how low hanging it all is. Every time I come here, I bang my head on at least 4 or 5 lamps. It used to be a much worse problem over in this area in front of the bar until, of course, Spike raised the roof. Look at this. This is inside that crazy A-frame that Spike and his buddy Josh built. Everything you're seeing up here is brand new. Look at that lamp with tapa cloth inside of the A-frame. The pufferfish lamp up there. There's an old vintage canoe under a skylight. Look at that float lamp. On this main piece hanging under the skylight is this big fish trap lamp with all these floats inside, glass floats with colored light bulbs. There are ship's pulleys, carved beams that look ancient, but were actually carved by Spike just for the A-frame. And check this out. Look at this tiki room looking planter right here. This is actually an old vintage Whitco hanging planter. I've always had a theory that the old Whitco plant holders like this, these old hanging things, could have inspired the hanging planters in the tiki room. But then, of course, lots of Polynesian and tiki pop bars had outrigger canoes hanging from the ceilings and different forms of nautical nonsense, so who knows? But look at this. You've got the corks, you've got the authentic nautical netting, fish nets and layers and different textures of rope, coconuts, and then of course all the thatched paneling in here with kind of this cool like crate-like structure. Some of this stuff has been in the Breezeway for a long time, like this fountain over here that has an interesting story behind it. Other pieces I don't think I've ever seen before, but there used to be so much stuff crammed in the other side of the Breezeway because it was so much smaller that I'm having trouble identifying everything that's new. I've been here a bunch, but it dawned on both of us pretty recently that I haven't filmed here with you guys in years. This tiki right here, this tall, dark, handsome totem pole, I happen to know is the first tiki that Spike himself ever carved. He carved this tiki because he couldn't afford the big, crazy, ornate tikis. That sounds familiar. Maybe I should start carving some tikis myself. And then this guy right here, this Bosco looking piece, this is definitely from the old original Breezeway because it's on this orange plaque. As a matter of fact, I've got to get some photos from Spike to show you what the original Breezeway 1.0 looked like. I saw it sort of at the end of the 1.0 era. It looked a lot more like this back door over here. Lots of black and orange, lots of triangular mid-century shapes, lots of stuff like this. Entering into the Breezeway from Spike's back door, you used to come into a much more sort of mid-century modern, sort of googie looking bar back here. A little bit more of a marriage of Adventureland and Tomorrowland, kind of. But as you see now, it has evolved into another animal entirely. And away from the main bar off to the left, even though this area has changed quite a bit over the years, you can still see some remnants of early stuff. The first stuff Spike added to the Breezeway, the orange, the triangles, some of his very simple first try beam carvings, and this epic black lava rock, quote-unquote, water feature. This was the coolest thing ever to me when I first saw the Breezeway. I was like, holy cow, dude, you built your own volcanic waterfall? The red lights to simulate lava are sort of overpowered by all the green tiki lamps in here now, but this thing is super cool. And now that it's probably 10 years old or so, it's got this nice patina of rust and dust on the old chain and the old concrete lava rock. Look at this in the corner with the red spotlight on it. This is another Spike carving over here. Look at that. So, as you can see, kind of a mid-century style tiki, but it's been joined by dusty old jugs and floats, whitco, spoons, actual authentic Papua New Guinea masks, sort of mid-century Bosco style stuff. I was just telling Spike, who just left to go buy some lemons, why I like the Breezeway so much. It's because it's such a combination of like jungle Adventureland type decor mixed with sort of those World War II era tiki bars that were a little bit more Asian influenced. A lot of the original bartenders that invented like the tiki cocktails and the tiki food, the Polynesian food that would go around those restaurants were from the Philippines and places like that. But anyway, it's got the exotic sort of Whitco style. It's a little bit more African influenced mixed with traditional Polynesian style, as evidenced by the tapa cloth back there. Papua New Guinea is represented here with all kinds of actual authentic pieces. Then you have some super groovy, angular, mid-century stuff going on, mixed with sort of a shipwreck
aesthetic. So there are bigger home tiki bars. There are more elaborate indoor ones that feature a lot more bamboo and stuff like that. But there's just something about the mix of design elements. Look at this old carving Spike did himself. The DIY stuff, the ship's bells. It's like beachcombery mixed with Adventureland. It just has a little bit of everything. Look at that old broken crate back there. The quote-unquote cannibal forks and the weapons, Chinese lanterns, the bamboo, the carvings, and something Spike really went nuts on again. The acres and acres of lamps. Look at this, the ship's lanterns, the puffer fish. This almost looks like a buoy light back here. And you've got these fish floats. So many different types of lanterns I've never really noticed. You know, your eye doesn't tend to focus on any one thing. It's sort of the sum of all the parts that you really notice. You just feel this sort of exotic, escapist fantasy feeling in here. That's what I love about it so much. Tiki lamps are expensive. Even when Oceanic Arts was still open and you wanted to buy like a fish trap lamp or a lamp with tapa cloth and thatching on it, you were gonna pay upwards of $300, maybe between $300 and $1,000 for a brand new lamp that would not be this intricate. And so Spike did what any old punk rock fan would do and went full on DIY. And I happen to know that he built a lot of the lamps that we're looking at. Of course, by the time you invest all the time needed to find all the parts, the tapa cloth, the bamboo, the rattan, the woven pieces, and then make these acrylic pieces here, these like crystal elements, or find a ship's wheel to serve as the bottom, and then spend the hours and hours necessary to craft it together, I think you sort of realize, oh yeah, that's why you spend $500 and you get someone else to do it. I mean, look at this. Look at all these individual little cut and assembled, glued together pieces of bamboo held in these triangles. I don't know if you can see this, but each one of those triangles is actually carved and torched and aged out of wood. It is incredible. This looks like the kind of place you'd have to hire a Disney Imagineer to build, but it wasn't a giant corporation that built this. This was all done by hand, layer by layer, artifact by artifact. It's impressive. Good thing Spike left to get lemons. Don't want him to know how proud of him I am. Ah! There are so many tikis out here. You just sort of take it all for granted. They just look so natural. It's hard to remember that each one of these had to be carved or come from somewhere. And a collection of tikis, even, 3 or 4, is not easy to build. Anyway, we're zooming in too much. We're getting too into the details. We gotta pull back. Let's back way up as if we're walking in for the first time. And the first feature your eye rests on when you walk through those doors is that green area behind the bar. And of course, the main attraction, the Tiki Bar itself. Now the first thing you'll notice is that it's built on this awesome sort of mid-century boomerang / amoeba shaped little, well, I don't know what the intention was, but it looks like an island to me. Very nautical indeed. Then up here on the little platform we've got these old Whitco stools. Whitco is a company that built a lot of exotic stuff, African themed stuff, jungle themed stuff. They built most of Elvis's jungle room furniture. Talk about that more in a second. For now we're gonna very carefully move these Whitco stools out of the way without damaging their vintage glory. Oh my gosh, these things are heavy. Sheesh. Oh. And behold the bar itself, which I happen to know is a handmade Spike marble original. Look at this. Look at the rail to rest your feet on. All carved, bound by ropes. I love how it has those pointy sort of mid-century modern ends. Then on the side you have these sort of historic tiki poles with these tiki totems holding up each end of the bar. And I love these sort of vertical panels. Some of them are carved, most of the middle ones aren't. They're all torched and aged. And then in the center, you've got your little tiki that you can see through the porthole. Look at that, he's got some tapa cloth behind him. He's just in there chilling, looking at you, gazing right into your leg area as you sit here. Just don't gaze at his leg area. This is a family show. There's all this little rope detailing on here, which must have been really hard to do. And then my favorite thing of all, look at the bar itself. Look at this ancient piece of wood, a nice thick slab with this brass or metal on it. Look at that right in the center, these brass fish.
buried in acrylic. Right, avoiding the fish traps back here. And this giant Whitco footstool, which we'll get to. Let's head around to the back of the bar. And as you can see, there's another layer here. And now that Spike has returned, we can get some more information. I just love the carving, dude. The rope. The rope must have taken a long time. How do you get the rope to stay on?
I don't know, nail gun?
Nail gun?
Yeah.
How many nails does it take to build a bar like this?
Several? I don't know.
Several. I love that there's all this storage space behind here and that you have like lighting in it that no one sees but you. That rules. Okay, so the original bar that was here was really simple, super mid-century looking, and then you decided to build a brand new bar. Where'd you get the bar top, like this big slab of wood from?
So my buddy Bamboo Ben was taking apart a home bar, and the whole bar was this long ship's hatch. And then my buddy and I...
Oh, it's a ship's hatch. That's why the brass on there. Okay, that's cool.
Let me move this monster out of the shot.
Oh, yeah, we don't need Monster Energy drink in the Tiki Bar. Oh!
Yeah,
So those are the handles right there? Okay, I see them.
But they were filled with this abalone shell. And then so the middle piece, we did kind of a tribute to my dad. He was on a submarine, and that's like the submariner's crest.
Oh, wow, dude.
So we carved that out, and then we also put like mother of pearl or whatever that is underneath too.
That is so sick. And your dad is like an artist, right? Like a painter. Mm-hmm. And then you went to school for like graphic design to be an artist. You're also a heck of an artist yourself. I've seen your art.
Thanks.
Don't try to be shy about it. And then was the idea for the platform to look like an island? Like I get the mid-century boomerang thing, but it kind of looks like an island.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't really supposed to be an island. Just kind of some kind of like how do you say that?
Anthropomorphic? Yes, anthropomorphic. Yeah, I got it.
Anthropomorphic shape that would like create levels in the ground here.
Well, I like that. I like that there's different levels, but I cannot be the first person that thinks it's an island, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I am?
Yeah.
It's cool. It's like you flow in with the river and you step up onto the island, dude. You come on shore and have a drink.
And then it comes up over there as well.
Yeah. There's a whole other bar back there and another level. But how long did this take you to build? The whole bar, start to finish.
Like this bar right here?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe a week. Something like that.
That's the thing, dude. Each individual piece takes like a ton of man hours.
Yeah.
And so it's easy to just walk around here and go, cool, Tiki Bar, and not realize like how much like time and sweat.
Like just this carving right here like takes time, and of course these are from Oceanic Arts. But we also wanted to put like a porthole in here. And of course there's like a foot right?
It opens?
Yeah.
I didn't know it opens. What the heck? So you can open it up and you can touch that little guy.
What?
I mean, if you wanted to.
Why would I want to touch him?
I don't know.
Especially
He's nude.
he's nude, yeah.
Okay, you were just telling me the story of the little guy in there and the fact that he is nude.
He is nude, yeah.
And Bob from Oceanic Arts offered you two different options.
Well, I brought him up to the front desk, and he goes, "Now, do you want the one with the accessory or the one without the accessory? Because I prefer the one with the accessory." And I was like, "Let's do the accessory one." So
Bob.
He used a different word, but you get the idea.
Yeah. Accessory. And now speaking of Bob and Leroy from Oceanic Arts, before we get to anything behind the bar, next to the bar is basically what's become the mascot for the Breezeway now, dude. This giant tiki totem right here, carved by the master himself, Leroy Schmaltz. Okay, you didn't get that at Oceanic Arts, right?
No. A private collector reached out to me, and he's like, "I hear you like this stuff," and I go, "Yeah, I like
A little bit, yeah. He likes it a little bit, folks. But then you got to take it to Oceanic Arts and ask Leroy.
Well, I brought him
a
a photo, yeah.
And he was like, "That's mine."
Yeah. Well, I think Bob was the one who said, "Yeah, that's one of Leroy's," and I think it was one of his last ones that he carved, and it was specifically for an art show. So.
Oh my gosh, I used to go in there and beg Leroy to carve me a tiki, even though I knew I couldn't afford it. But like somehow I'd find the money if he would agree to do it, you know. And he was like, I don't really carve them anymore. And then you got one. Somehow you got one.
Yeah.
From an outsider, somehow, a Schmaltz, dude. A full-on, a proper Schmaltz. Look at the size of your Schmaltz.
It's definitely like one of my prized possessions of the Breezeway.
And yet, you just told me that when you brought it here in your truck, it was just rolling around in there.
Well, I tried to keep it to one side, but every time I take a turn, I'd hear it go boom, boom, boom.
This is the coolest thing ever. Can you leave this to me in your will?
Sure.
Not that I'll outlive you, but at least then I'll feel like, you know, I might get one day. And you were just telling me Leroy used to carve these for how much a foot?
Like $100 a foot.
$100 a foot.
So that thing should be like $500 or whatever.
Oh.
I know.
And in an auction now,
$30,000.
I don't even want to think about it. I mean, other ones like this in that last auction went for like 10 to 13 to up. Just depends on like where,
Provenance and stuff.
where they were at. But this is like Leroy has done in his style because he wanted to for an art show. So I would think it would be more valuable than like a commission. You know, I don't know. Just never sell it ever. It's too awesome. Yeah, and then this ancient guy over here, you were telling me, you got this for $5?
Yeah. It was
come on.
It was it was face down in somebody's backyard at an estate sale. And they also had like 30 or not 30, maybe 30 Tiki Mr. Bali Highs. So I bought all the Mr. Bali Highs, and then I went in the backyard and there was like a log face down, and I was like, I kind of kicked it over with my foot, and it was that dude.
This is why no one else should even bother trying to find this stuff at estate sales, because you're always there first. You're always there, like, before it even happens. Like, scoop!
So I was like, what do you want for that old log? And they go, I don't know, you want to take it? Like, $5? And I was like, yes, $5.
And then what's the story on the fountain again? I know you've told me this before, but I can't remember. Where are these from?
So the original owner got this at the Orange County Fair in 1959.
Jeez Louise, dude. 1959. And you're the one that turned it into a fountain, right?
No, it had a hole drilled.
Oh,
And
really?
I just had to kind of like reconfigure it.
But they weren't meant to be fountains, were they?
Some of them were, yeah.
Oh, I never knew that.
But I built the whole stand and everything.
Right, and this is super Don the Beachcomber, like Sam's Seafood, the big giant shell waterfall action. I guess it kind of goes back to Clifton's and stuff like that, but that's what it'll always remind me of. And the Hula Girls playing in the Dagger Bar, dude. You don't have any Milonguancos back here, do you?
No.
Not yet. One day.
One day, Jennifer.
Okay, now for the wall of fame here behind Spike's. Become famous because of Spike's Breezeway Cocktail Hour, the show on YouTube, which you can watch right now, by the way. Well, after you watch this. Headlined and flanked by these three Leroy Schmaltz Oceanic Arts Papua New Guinea masks, which are still a pain, let me tell you, because you still basically have to hand finish each one. But these are the rough original patterns made to make copies of from Oceanic Arts or some of the other companies that they worked with that produced their tiki masks for a time. It's Benson's, right?
Yeah. On the back of these things in Sharpie, it says Benson's.
And so Oceanic Arts would farm out some of their designs to other companies. So these were originals for Benson's to make copies.
Yeah.
And then Oceanic Arts eventually was producing them themselves. But these master patterns here that were probably made by Leroy were just lost to time until Spike uncovered them where?
At an estate sale for $25 each.
$25 each.
And how much did these things go for in the auction?
Way too much, man.
Like
too much for me to buy.
$800 or?
It was a lot more for some of them, but I think that was about right for some of the smaller ones. Dude,
but almost all of these things back here are master patterns, like the tiki, the
right,
coup,
the coup back here.
There's a chick coup over here.
Oh, and then this moai over here is also a master pattern. See that? That's how they mount it on a spindle, and there's the mounting thing down there.
But I think that top thing was for a lighter.
Oh yeah, because they made tiki torches like this.
Yeah, tiki torches. No, but also like table lighters.
I always forget that table lighters even existed. There were all these centerpieces back in the day, like tiki totems and stuff with lighters built into the top because, of course, everybody smoked. It was super cool back then. It made you die, but people thought that was awesome. Old school sun-kissed squeezer, like they used to use at the authentic tiki bars. Here's a tile from a very famous pinup pool that we can't say the name of for, plausible denial reasons. Authentic shrunken head.
I think that's a Chinese rice wine bottle, and the only reason I have that is because that was on the back bar at Don the Beachcomber. Like in the photos, not that one, but
right,
same kind of bottle.
See, that's the thing I like about you is that you're like looking back at all the historic tiki bars and then using that for inspiration. Like everything you do has to have some layer of authenticity.
Well, it's like, why reinvent something that was so rad to begin with?
Why aren't there any parrots in here, dude, or pirate stuff? Oh. Yeah, so many anchors and jugs and weird things. Another Frankie's Tiki Room stool. More Oceanic Arts and authentic Papua New Guinea masks.
This is a Tongan war club. How gnarly is that?
Please don't hit me with that.
I wasn't planning on it, but yeah, crazy, huh?
And then my favorite thing that Spike changed is he used to have this really ugly white patio table back here, and I hated it. So the whole Breezeway was colorful and cool and wooden and rustic, and then you had this plain white table,
And look at it now. A giant ship's wheel with a vintage ship's wheel ashtray in the middle, and then all around it old school vintage matchbooks and ashtrays and swizzle sticks and coasters and napkins from all kinds of vintage tiki bars. There's a whole tiki museum just in the table here. And I just found out this table is the original ugly white table. There's the original stand for it. But look at it now. It's glorious. This weird piece of bamboo, this came out of Oceanic Arts. It's hanging up in there. Look at this rope pufferfish in a float lamp. And then one of the coolest things ever is this whole old school second bar. A vintage Whitco bar. Look at those carved tiki guys on the sides. Look at the big mask in the center. Look at the size of this thing. Look at that old school slab of wood. Look at that Monster Energy drink. Sorry, that's mine. My heart doctor says I'm not supposed to drink these anymore, but Spike offered, and how could I refuse? I'm just pre-gaming the caffeine for when he gives me a Spike's Breezeway Tiki cocktail. You bought this original vintage Whitco bar for how much money?
Like, I think it was 200, 250, something like that.
And you took your old school Econoline. This, like, how old is that car? What is it? 60s?
1961.
1961 Econoline truck.
Yeah.
And went and picked that thing up. Just cruise through LA with it.
Through LA, north of LA, through like burning hills. I have a YouTube video on it actually. It was like, but it was all shot with a cell phone. It's like, but
One of our many fires. Okay, and then what's the backstory on Whitco for people who don't know anything about Whitco? I was trying to explain, like, they made a bunch of Elvis's furniture and stuff, but it goes farther than that.
Well, a guy named William Westenhaven started carving this stuff like in the Pacific Northwest, and it caught on with a lot of people. But I remember it was Elvis's dad said that he would walk past like a department store and said, "I just saw the ugliest furniture I've ever seen." And Elvis goes, "Oh yeah, where'd you see that?" And so he finds out where it was, and he buys the whole collection for his jungle room. But it's all carved, I think, out of swamp ash with a chainsaw. And his fountains are super famous.
They had catalogs and stuff, but every single piece was handmade, right? So they're all different. They're like snowflakes.
Yeah, totally. But they definitely had styles. Like, you know, this is one of the more famous styles.
Right, they had African style, Polynesian style.
Which is so weird because they call this the African bar, and it's obviously Papua New Guinea.
Right. And then now, Whitco is kind of coming back, right?
Yeah, I think Whitco's coming back after Sven Kirsten wrote this book, Tiki Modern. All of a sudden, Whitco like jumped up in value and price, and it's a lot of collectors now.
You ever think you'd own something like that?
No, I never thought I'd own one of those Whitco bars.
Because you started with no money,
Yeah.
carving tikis yourself.
Yeah, because I wanted tikis, and so I just found logs and like carved my own stuff.
Punk rock style, dude.
For sure.
And now look at this. You have basically a museum. I mean, I know there's people that have like maybe more valuable collections or huge. I mean, there are the whales out there that have the huge collections. But you've built something awfully special here, man. Does it ever trip you out, or do you just take it for granted? You're like, oh yeah, there's my Breezeway.
No, I'm really happy with where it is, you know? I think, like other people might have more extensive or more valuable collections, but I think what I've done is I've created like an art project that I think satisfies kind of the problem, or what would you say?
The craving.
Satisfies the craving.
The craving for the exotic, for the fantastic, dude.
Yeah. It's transportative. Just to come outside from my kitchen and be in this like tropical wonderland.
And then look at this. Look at this artifact. It's now part of the Breezeway. It's Spike, carved by me. And not only does he have this little Spike here, but if you head out of the new Breezeway, hi Sparky, head out of the new Breezeway entrance, hiding back here in a corner behind some fishnet, is the first tiki mask I ever carved, just to see if I could do it out of an old crappy piece of wood Spike had in his garage.
I gotta put that in a more prominent place. It's kind of tucked away back there.
Yeah, what are you, ashamed of my tiki skills, Spike?
It was prominent before I built all this. So.
I'm no Leroy Schmaltz, but it's a little piece of history. And it came from here, technically.
I love it.
Yeah, dude, the Breezeway. It is insane. I could go on and on and on and show you guys every single little detail in here, but luckily, Spike just recently filmed his own tour of the Breezeway. And of course, you can see the Breezeway all the time on Spike's Breezeway Cocktail Tiki Hour, whatever it's called. It's got a long name.
Spike's Breezeway Cocktail Hour.
Spike's Breezeway Cocktail Hour, and you can learn how to make authentic tiki drinks with Spike, who stands right here and goes through old traditional recipes, tries a few new recipes, and has weird guests like me on the show from time to time. I was trying to convince Spike to do some kind of show about tiki stuff, tiki history. For years, he's like, no, I don't want to see me do it. I'm not the expert. I'm not the pro. And then he started doing the cocktail show during COVID just for the heck of it. And it blossomed into like a whole thing now, dude.
It's a whole thing, yeah.
Now there's a shrunken head of you at the Golden Tiki in Las Vegas. Like, people fly you to other states to talk tiki. You're like a tiki guy now.
Now
I mean, you've always been a tiki guy, but now you're like one of the tiki guys.
Well, COVID happened, and then all of a sudden the Hula Girls couldn't play anywhere anymore. And
Right.
so I was like, well, I want to keep doing something for this world.
And then it turned out people liked watching it.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say I told you so, but I did tell you so.
You did tell me so.
Okay, now that I've hit my head a few hundred times and we've seen the Breezeway, we've got a surprise for Spike. Because as good as the Breezeway is, dude, I think it could be a little bit better. I think it could go up another level, another notch.
Okay.
So I'm going to have you go inside.
Okay.
I'm going to bring in my team, like Kitchen Nightmares in here, and then we'll see what you think.
Okay, I can't wait.
By the way, when Spike goes to transform this into a set for his show, look at that. He has built-in stands that hold the lights. He's got little tricky things that hold the microphones, the cameras. This is awesome, dude. Look at that. It's all on like a pulley system. That rules.
Yeah, with that pulley thing, I wanted to do like a Swiss Family Robinson kind of thing, where there's pulleys and there's like hanging coconuts, and it's like, it's when you were younger, that's all like the stuff that was so rad about shows like that.
Exactly.
Tree houses and
monkeys. Disneyland.
Yeah.
Lights, camera, action. All right, Spike and Sparky are locked up inside the house. Spike's playing guitar in there, and my lovely assistant has shown up to help me tikify this lame excuse for a tiki bar. Takes tiki too seriously. He needs to relax and get in the spirit. The party spirit! Gone are those old drab bamboo walls. Look at these beautiful plastic walls with flowers. We've got shiny palm trees now and hanging cardboard palm trees. Look at the improvement to the bar. How about this, folks? This is looking great. Let's see if we can shed some light on the... Yes! Now you can truly see the color palette here. The color scheme. Relax! Look at some authentic fishnet. Ooh, green. I think the neon green fishnet will look good over here, covering these ugly old drab tikis, giving them a little pop. Now they pop. See, now my original plan was to cover the whole place in Party City dollar store tiki stuff, but what I'm discovering now is that even $100 of dollar store and Party City stuff isn't going to cover the whole Breezeway. The Breezeway is deceptively large. It's way bigger than you think it would be. So we'll concentrate our forces on the bar area since Spike's about to film his show with me. And this way the episode's going to take a turn he didn't expect. Turns out these are too small to fit on me. They're even too small to fit on Allie, or even a small child couldn't fit into this. That's okay, because now they've become plastic seashell props. I was going to replace all his authentic mugs back there with all of our Party City mugs, but I forgot that he glued them down. They're all earthquake puttied now. So plastic seashells will have to do. Get our leaf coasters involved. Here we go. Things are looking more authentic already. Coconut bra here. Let's see, a grass skirt over one of the whitcos. Look at, we're scattering around our fairy garden tiki pieces. There we go, perfect. Life's a beach. Oh, the plastic coconuts. Plastic coconuts. Got my pirate's booty here for later. I thought these coconuts were also gonna have straws, but they just have lids like big Easter eggs. They have straw holes, but they didn't come with the silly straw. I think this is starting to look good. Oh, one of the backdrops came with a ground piece, some fake sand. We'll put that down here. Look at that, right between the whitcos. Sand. Now it has a beach vibe, Allie. A beach theme. Okay, I've got a solution now. We can't decorate this whole half of the Breezeway, so we'll just block this whole half of the Breezeway off with this beach background. Fun! Tiki! Well, that is beautiful, because now, no matter where you look, no matter what angle you're looking at from the Breezeway Tiki Cocktail Hour Show.com, you are seeing Party City and Dollar Tree. The funny part is, I thought it would look a lot worse, but in context, in Spike's Breezeway Tiki Cocktail Hour bar of eccentric madness mixed in with all the authentic stuff, it actually looks pretty good. I feel relaxed. It doesn't look bad at all. Dude, there we go. And now Spike is playing surf music in the background in the house. I think it's time we reveal our creation. Ooh, hold on, gotta change my hat. Welcome to Justin's Breezeway Tiki Party City Dollar Tree Hour of relaxing on the beach with a fun tiki drink. What a fun one! Okay, we're ready, Spike. It's time. Come on, Sparky. Come on. What do you think?
Oh my! What have you done?
What do you think? Look at it.
No, what?
It has a nice beachy vibe. Wait a minute. You got to put on the hat. There we go. Come on, Spike. Don't you want to come back and enjoy the tiki?
No. What have you done?
Look at it. Now it has like a nice beach vibe. Check out the sand.
Oh, yeah.
And then look. What do you think?
Yeah, it's much better. Why does it say Tiki Bar so many times?
Because so people know what it is.
Oh. Why do you have a hook?
Because I'm a pirate.
But that's not tiki.
Yeah, well, it is today.
Okay. It's all very overwhelming. I don't know what my favorite part is.
Maybe answer in a pirate voice.
Oh, in a pirate voice? Arr. I don't have an opinion. I don't know. I guess I like the palm tree.
Oh, yeah, okay. The palm tree.
Yeah.
What about the sparkly summer pineapple above your head? Check out behind you, dude. Look at the bar back. What do you think?
What's this little thing up here?
It's like a fairy garden.
Oh, okay.
And then look at the tiki, authentic tiki.
So you covered like all the Oceanic Arts stuff?
Right, with better stuff.
Okay.
Stuff for the common man.
Yeah.
And then look at this net.
Yeah, that's nice. Was that neon green?
Neon green.
Okay.
And then check out all the authentic mugs we got you. We got you this for a painkiller. Mm-hmm. You can put a zombie in this.
Okay.
Yeah, look at that. We got fun palm trees, and then most important of all, your new motto for the show.
Does it say relax?
Yes, it says relax.
Why does it say relax?
So that you relax.
Oh.
Remember, tiki's supposed to be fun, Spike.
It is?
Stop trying so hard.
I don't think it's supposed to be fun.
Just relax.
Oh, okay. Are we gonna do limbo? You can't. How do you do limbo on that though? It's just like a.
Oh yeah, look. We're doing limbo. Limbo, limbo, limbo. I didn't even notice that. Hey, whoa! Did you see the grass skirt on your tikis?
Oh yeah.
Grass skirt on this guy? Look at this guy. Leroy's tiki's not naked anymore.
Oh, you put a grass skirt
Just
on
the
him.
way Leroy would have wanted. Whoa,
my
whoa.
hat.
By the way, I know you know the Hula Girls use the coconuts and the grass skirts. I found a place where you can get those for a steal.
Oh really? Okay.
Just a new supplier for you.
All right.
Does this make you uncomfortable?
Yeah, all of this is very uncomfortable. Yes.
Okay, well the good news is you get to keep it all. I'm not taking any of this home with me.
Wow. Okay.
But wait, let's go on the fun side, the beach side. But you can give it away on Spike's Breezeway Tiki Cocktail Hour. Maybe like if they're subscribed to me and you, or they follow me on Instagram and you on Instagram. You can box it all up and ship it to the lucky winner. No, that's your hat.
Yeah.
That's for you.
Okay.
And then look at all the lays. See, there's more flowers up here in the vines.
What's in this like pirate bag?
That's a surprise for your show.
Over my show.
And you know what? As a matter of fact, I know it's getting late. We should probably start your show right now. So everybody, I'm going to sign off. I have redecorated Spike's Breezeway Tiki Cocktail Breezeway.
Thank you.
Better than it's ever looked before. I have done my duty. Time for me to go on Spike's show.
YouTube.com/the Hula Girls. Now.
And sleep well. Oh, well, and drink well.
Drink well.
Oh, we're going to drink.
Aloha.
Oh, cheers. Bottoms up. That's how they say it in the islands.
Relax.
You genuinely look really happy.
It's a lot.
This is the stuff that when you walk into a party store, you're always like, ah. Oh.
Yeah. This is the stuff that, like...
Why couldn't they just make... Why does it have to have a pineapple? Why couldn't it just look a little bit... But look at the tiki masks behind you.
I
Yeah,
mean,
those
that
are-
to me screams Tiki. Look at it next to a Leroy mask. Basically the same thing.
Very authentic, yes.
It's basically exactly like
But it's this stuff that really like sets off the whole thing.
Island Time.
It's island time. Yeah.
It's got glitter and surfboards. You like surfing?
I do like surfing.
You like glitter?
Oh, my hat.
You like pinup girls and they wear glitter, right? Burlesque.
Yeah, they do.
Kind of works.
All right.
YouTube.com/Hula-Girls.
All right.
I feel so stupid about these polls now. I guess we could always edit it in afterwards, right here. Then you'll know where they came from. And then it'll look like I knew. Except for that I already said I didn't know.
Yeah.
Oh no. Just so you know, when you guys saw this in the episode, it was still raw. I gave it to Spike all raw wood, so he could stain it or torture it or do anything with it. And he's had it for like at least 6 months. And he's like, oh, I've just been busy. So he's doing this before you saw it in the episode. Covering his tracks. We're not going to let him off the hook, though. After the credits, man. If people stick around until the end, they're going to see what he did. What's your favorite part?
I mean, it's all.
Wait. You have to wear the hook while
Oh,
you
okay.
talk. Okay. Ay, Dios mío. I hit my head again. Hello. We're locked out. We're locked out. Spike!